Good morning and welcome to Emotional Intelligence for Leaders. How many of you have worked for a leader who you felt was emotionally challenging? How many of you have worked for a leader that's had emotional outbursts and made your job really unpleasant? I know I certainly have. My first ever job out of university, I went to work for a large telecommunications organization, and I was just full of energy and life, and I really wanted to change the world. 1 year later, I wanted to quit. Why did I want to quit? I'd been moved into a team, and my team leader was difficult. He had no concept, no understanding of his impact on other people. He was a micromanager. He was critical in his actions. He was critical in the way he behaved. And he was extremely challenging, but not in a supportive way. All of those feed into emotional intelligence for leaders. So, welcome to the second in our leadership series. Today, we're going to be looking at emotional intelligence. Why does it matter? What's the importance of it? Then we're going to move into, briefly, because we are only here for 15 minutes, the signs of a leader with low emotional intelligence. And then finally, we're going to look at strategies, just a few strategies to help either you or your teams to better themselves, to optimize their performance through developing some more emotional intelligence. And the first thing I like to say is well done for being here, because actually the first step in the journey of developing emotional intelligence is just knowing that you can. It's the first piece in the jigsaw to building emotional intelligence. So I want to tell you a little bit more about emotional intelligence and why it's important to me. Emotional intelligence is part of being a better leader. And what we do at Thrive World Global is we develop leaders with insight, leaders who can influence, and leaders who have and make a positive impact in their organizations. Because ultimately, that helps the business grow and scale, and that helps the world become a better place. So first of all, what I want to do is introduce you to Daniel Goldman's concept of emotional intelligence. So it's set up in 4 quadrants. We've got self-regulation. The first thing we can do is become aware and then regulate our emotions. So we're on that journey. We are aware already because you are here and you are wanting to gain insight into how to become a better leader and lead with emotional intelligence. So we then move from awareness into regulation. Then we also look at social skills. How are we in developing our social skills within a team? That is incredibly important in terms of building trust and collaboration. And then, of course, we've got relationship management. What does it mean to manage relationships? What is the importance of managing relationships? I think it's really important to, first of all, highlight the insight piece, the piece about what it's like when we start on a journey of developing our own self-awareness. We might do that through getting feedback from other people. We might do that through journaling. We might actually do that through taking a walk in nature and just thinking about a conversation that maybe didn't go so well. What was it about that conversation that didn't go so well? Was it how you behaved? Was it how the other person behaved? Was it just a conflict of interest that maybe you need to talk out? And when you do that, you build trust and collaboration. But it does come down to how you address your emotions in the first place. What are the signs of a leader who lacks emotional intelligence, who maybe has a destructive approach? Possibly they know about it, but more often than not, they don't know about it. And this is where it's important to gain the insights, to give feedback so that you become aware of your presence and your impact. And the reason that we want to do this is it betters communication. So, a leader who is lacking emotional intelligence may just be breaking down all the relationships within the team. Maybe saying things that just seem out of turn. But the thing is, as that leader may be under pressure, and as we know, when we become under pressure, we really start to struggle with maintaining our composure. And so what this is about developing composure. So some of the other signs might be irritability, might be poor decision making. Poor decision making is a really big one because the leader is not making decisions with clarity, because their minds got all sorts of other things going on and they're leading with their emotions. They're not leading with clarity. It may be that they take over control. They want to micromanage everything because they're not allowing the team to grow and develop. These are all signs of a leader who lacks emotional intelligence. Now, what can we do about that? Well, as I've already said, that the first thing is to understand that you are here and you are wanting to know more about this. And that is absolutely brilliant. The things that you can actually do to build your emotional intelligence is to firstly ask your team. Ask your team. Maybe do some 360 feedback within the team. Because once you know your behaviors, you're in a position to do something about changing those behaviors. Mindfulness, as I've said earlier, that is a really important step forward in terms of putting yourself in a place where you can take decisions, you can lead, you can run team meetings, you can ask people, you can delegate from a place of composure, not from a place of emotionally charged reactions. And often that's what happens. It comes from a place of emotionally charged reactions. The next thing you can do is empathize with your team. Empathize with them, listen to your team, work out what is going on for them. Because when you listen and you're not listening to answer, you're really listening, you're really present, you will hear things that you weren't aware of. And that has the bonus of boosting team dynamics and fostering a culture of positive intent. And we spoke last week about followership and a leader needing followers and followers wanting to support their leader. Well, if you lead with strong emotional intelligence, you will bring your followers with you. Then the other thing about empathy is that you start to understand your team's perspective. Maybe there are things going on for your team that you're just not aware of. You just don't know that that's happening for them. And maybe you need to have those conversations where, you can cut them some slack. Sometimes we all need a little bit of, slack cut. We all need to be heard. So, that is the empathy piece. That's what that does for you. Emotional intelligence also allows you as a leader to be agile, to be adaptable to situations. And, we're in a pressured environment. We are, all in a cost of living crisis. Businesses are impacted. And so we need to be able to adapt to new situations. And the more you develop your emotional intelligence, the more you are able to adapt and maybe find new strategies to move forward. And that feeds into resilience. Emotional intelligence is a part of resilience. And resilience is something that is going to help you perform better. Resilience is about finding new ways to do things. Sometimes it's about, yes, getting back up and picking yourself up, dusting yourself down and getting on with the day. But actually, resilience is also about finding new ways to do things. And if you're in an emotionally intelligent space where you've been able to pause, if the pressure's on, you've given yourself a chance to breathe, you've given yourself a chance to think, and you've come up with some clear, direct decisions, then you're in a far better position with these new strategies to achieve the business outcome. I mentioned then pausing, and between an action and a response, there is a space. And that is your opportunity to own that space, to pause, to take a breath, to stop before you take that next step, before you react. What you want to do is choicefully make a decision and move forward. And the brain needs thinking time. Otherwise, what happens is we go into the automatic response, and you will do what you've always done because you haven't given yourself a chance to take a break and then act choicefully, make decisions choicefully with clarity. The other thing about building emotional intelligence within your teams, within social settings, is it gives you the ability to resolve conflict in a powerful way. And when you resolve conflict, you build trust. You build trust within your team. You build an openness within your team. So instead of avoiding things, emotional intelligence as a leader, you face things. You know you have to make some difficult decisions, but you make those difficult decisions choicefully. You're not reacting, you're choosing to take that decision. Sometimes that decision is calling out toxic behavior, but at least when you do it, you're not reacting, you are acting choicefully. So I have a gift for you, which I want to leave you with. And later on, we're going to pop the gift in the link below. And we'll also send this out in messages. And it's a resilience scorecard. And what this will do, this will score your resilience. And one of the parts of that scoring is composure. It's about your emotional intelligence. So, take a look, complete the scorecard, and then you'll be sent back a detailed PDF talking about what strategies you can do to take yourself forward. And if you wish to book an insight session with me, where we can talk about, your leadership, your business leaders' emotional intelligence or the emotional intelligence within your teams, then again, we will be sending that link out. I am passionate about developing leaders with insight and with influence and positive impact. And I would love to share this journey with you and enable your business to grow and scale because you have leaders that are effective. So thank you for listening today. It's great to have been here. If you're watching live now, or maybe you're watching on catch up, it's been great to see you. And I look forward to seeing you next week, where we'll be talking about how to have difficult conversations. Thank you.